Hey everybody, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to my photo editing live stream where you can submit your images and I'll edit them here for you live using DxO Photolab 8 today. Um, I will try and do some live streams this year using different editors. DxO is my preferred editor of choice, but I know some of you like to see maybe some editing in other software that you might be using other than DxO. So I just need to get a little more proficient at them. I mean, I'm pretty proficient at Lightroom, but I also have a Luminar that I wanted to try, and I'm also fairly proficient in OM Workspace, so we'll be doing that. And I'm so sorry for the short notice today. I had other plans today, so I wouldn't be able to live stream, but then they got kind of canceled last minute. My mom caught a cold, and we had to cancel our lunch today. So I said, okay, good, then I can do our live stream. Anyhow, let me see who's here. I see Robert's here. Good to see you, Robert. Good time the other day out with your brother. Thanks so much for the dinner. I really appreciate that. And see Seraphin's here and Darko and Paul. Good to see you. And I see a lot of questions here too and some comments. So happy New Year, by the way, everybody. Really happy New Year. I'm really excited about what we're going to do together throughout the year. Um, I bought a new camera today. I said I was going to wait till 2025. And how long did that last? 3 days. I'll talk about that maybe on Sunday, but it's not in my hands yet. Once it's in my hands, then I'll announce what it is. I have to be sure that I get the email confirmation that it's ready. So we'll see. Really special camera too. Something I've wanted for a long time. So it's not a new release camera; it's an older one, but I'm really excited about it. Okay. I just downloaded the images, so I need to decompress them. And oh, thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. It really helps me out a lot. I was sealing some of the holes in my house this morning. I fixed one last year, which worked out really well because I had all these bats flying into my attic. It was somehow they would make it out of the attic into my house. So I'll be sitting there watching TV and then it'll this bat go flying by. But I was sealing another couple this morning because trying to maintain the heat inside the house. Because I noticed that on the wall, this one part of the wall was like 55 degrees. And then you move over a few inches and it was like 44 degrees Fahrenheit. So I was like, all right, there's a problem here somewhere. I got one of uh, these, temperature things. I just went around my house this morning, you know, trying to find some cold spots, and I found a big one. So I sealed that up today with the same thing I used to seal the window behind me. It's like this aluminum foil insulation or something. Anyhow, let me get to the images. I know you're not here to hear me talk about my domestic problems, right? Um, but heating oil is so expensive. Come on, let's load up here into other live streams. Today's download. Yep. Extract. Perfectamundo. And since I started so late today, if you want to submit an image during the stream, I'm going to have time because there's only 3 or 4 images here. And I think I got enough energy to do maybe 5 or 6 or 10, whatever. Okay. Let me go to that folder. And we will start editing, I think. Assuming everything downloaded properly. Let me reset this. Okay, very good. Now I just need to rearrange my windows and put that window over there. Close that one, close that one. My God, I got so many windows open. Close that one. Oh, let me change the screen resolution so you can see, so that you can see the sliders and things a little better too. So we'll go to that one. That should be bigger. Just a little bit. Okay. I push this button. There we go. Oh, let me just check the chat one more time too, because I thought I saw a few questions. Okay. Oh, Garrett's here. Jan, good to see you. And wow, you got snow. There was a little snow up north for me. My screen, my window's backwards. Hold on. There we go. I was wondering why everything was out of alignment. Uh, there we go. That's better. And just a tad brighter, maybe. Perfect. Okay. Jeff Painter, good to see you. Happy New Year and Happy New Year, Paul. And Darko just popping in saying good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Seraphin, Happy New Year. And let's see. Paul says, sent in a macro shot of my Christmas cactus bud, stacked 162 images of a bud which is 4 millimeters long. Interesting. The Z8 with the Laowa 2.5x, half second step that. Wow, you need, yeah, I was gonna say you got the NovaFlex. I was gonna say you need a really steady setup there, but that's a good one, the NovaFlex. And Robert's asking, how would I simulate a radial mass? Okay, you would do it basically with a control point. I'll show you that while I'm editing, and I do want to show you a really interesting use for the chroma masking that I want to. The image I gave you guys to edit, that's my image. I'm gonna show you an interesting way to use the chroma mask in DxO. Paul, good to see you. Had a nice walk this morning. Very good. God, I've been walking like crazy the last 3 days. If you see my Instagram and Flickr, I've uploaded like dozens of pictures because I've been out photo walking with everyone. And hello, John. Good to see you. More snow. And Steve, good to see you. Okay, so we have our. I think that's everyone. So let me go to the editing. We'll start with this one from John. We have, oh, wow. The beautiful misty scene here around the pond. Does my webcam work? Yeah, that works. Okay. Oh, ooh. I don't think I need to do much here. Maybe just a slight tilt on the horizon. So let me do that first. I mean, I don't have any straight lines to really gauge the horizon, but I'm just going to do it by feel. I'm going to do the auto crop, and the 16:9 I think works here. Maybe just a slight crop in. Basic rule of thirds. Keep a little bit of grass here in the foreground for framing. Then I lost the top of the tree. I want to keep that. Let's bring this. Oops. Let's bring this side in just a tad. I think that's a little better because what I'm looking at is I want to keep the top of this tree in the frame. But I wanted to get rid of this tree on the left side just to keep the rest of the frame kind of clean. And we'll go with that. Okay. Yeah, I think that frame's a little nicer. There's good balance here with less distractions. And now a nice foggy scene, whether it's morning or evening, I want to see if I can find some colors in here. Oh, I didn't apply a preset. Hold on. I'll just do it manually. Basically, I just check all these boxes, put it on auto. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to just pump the saturation all the way up and just see if there's any colors in here that I want to amplify. So I have very strong blues and green, and maybe a hint of, see if there's any reds at 180. Oh, let me turn off my screen. I'm looking over here at the RGB values, and I can also look at the histogram and see that, the reds are really kind of on the deeper end in the shadow areas. Like I assume it's this little bit of grass down here. But I'm looking for some color in the sky potentially. So I'm looking at the RGB values to see. So like I'm in the 180s here on red, and over here I'm on the 160s, and then over here 150s. And down here very, very low in the 60s. So there's a little bit of red here, and the blues are completely clipped across the scene here. Because we're at if you look here, it says 255. So Uh, I hate to get all clinical about color, but eyeballing color sometimes is enough. But in this case, the colors are so subtle that I'm looking at the values to help me find where they are in the scene. And that's something I haven't done before. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can pull back some of the blues just a little bit there. Now we're not clipping. We're in the 230s, 240s. That's good because if I didn't do that, see how strong the blues are? Let me go back here and pull this back, and then I'm going to go over here and just pull the blues back a little bit, maybe 10. All right. I mean, they were clipping because I saturated the entire scene, but it does help me to find where certain colors are a little bit too strong. You don't want all the colors to match either, right? Because then it'd be a black and white image. But I do like to try to stretch the colors a little sometimes. And in here, the greens. Okay, now the reds are balancing a little more, but let's crank up the reds a little bit. It's not reflecting on the histogram there. That's all right. Reds. Ooh, the reds are, let me stretch it into the yellows and see. Nope. There's just no moving those reds. So what I might have to do, let me try. Okay. There's no pushing the yellows either. So what I might do is maybe shift the greens. just experimenting a little bit here. I shift over this way. There we go. That's better. Let me see how we did here. Okay. And the purples, we'll shift those to be a little more red. Go back here and shift this more. Okay, I like that. All right. Very, very subtle changes there. That's not doing anything. That's okay. And then let's do a slight white balance shift, a little bit warmer. A little bit of magenta. Okay, and then globally, I'm just going to pull, let's just add a little micro contrast and then just pull the blacks in. Slight push on the midtones. All right, let me do a little bit on the water now. Okay. And then some local adjustments on the tree. Maybe this whole line here. Let's give it a little bit more light. What contrast? Okay. All right, let me see where I'm at here. Okay, that's good. Compare with. Okay, let me get rid of this one control point here. Okay, one more thing I'm going to do. Let's go back here. I'm going to reverse the micro contrast a bit. Go back to this line here. We'll make this more gradual. Oops. Make this a bit more gradual. Okay. Okay, I think I'll call it there. So let's do a side by side. So there's the original image there on the left, and this is the edited image. So yeah, what I noticed right away when I looked at the image was just the very strong bluish kind of color cast. especially when I saturated all the colors, I could see the blues clipped very, very quickly. So I just desaturated the blue a little bit, and this is very, very subjective, right? Uh, my decisions here. I just didn't care for that very, very strong blue overcast. So, through shifting things with the color wheel, doing the best I can with the reds, and then the rest of it was just a little bit of contrast, right, in the scene here in the front, but then reducing the contrast in the background just to kind of maintain that sort of soft feel that this scene has. So I think that looks pretty good. So if we do, and then one quick look at the original scene here in the crop. Like I said, I kind of talked about getting rid of the branches on the left side here. And I was hoping I could keep some of the grass down here, but it didn't, I just couldn't frame it quite right. But it's okay. I think it looks okay without the grass there. Grass may be a little distracting as well. All right, beautiful image. Thank you for sending that in, John. And let's see. Yeah, Paul, that's fine. You can, Paul sent another one in. That's perfectly fine. Okay, and Happy New Year, Eric. Good to see you. And Happy New Year, Bird. And William, good to see you. Okay, let's see what we have here. We have duck. So let's go ahead and apply basic preset. And I definitely need to brighten this image to see what we have here. Okay. I'll just start with that. Just a global brightening. Interesting. Why is it so underexposed to begin with, though? That's you were spot metering. Huh. What the heck is... Oh, you were spot metering for the feathers, maybe. Okay. Well, we can bring that back. I understand now. All right. Let's do some local adjustments. And birds, I always like to do eyes and beak. So we'll do that. And just bring the eye up. Make it glossy. And some micro contrast. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. There we go. Give a nice little halo around the eye. And then let's see if we can bring back some of the clipped highlights in here. And throw in some contrast. And then the water. Oops, let me make a new control line. And let's try clear view first. It's about right. Bring in the darkness a little bit. And then I see a little bit of color up here, so I don't know if I can really tighten up the mask here. Just going to move this around. Let's try that. And I'm going to invert the mask. No, that's not working. Okay. Let's try some contrast. Just soften that a little bit. Okay. Make sure the mask is not. I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't do that. Thinking here. If I do a negative this way. Okay. The mask was kind of bleeding into the bird here, so I just threw in a negative mask and put the pointer on the on the color of this duck here, and hopefully that, yeah, that got rid of most of it. And what I'll do is bring a little bit of contrast back in. Okay. Good, good. All right. And then I think composition-wise, maybe we'll give the duck a little bit of. Let me look at this again. I just wanted to give a little bit more space in the front and a tiny bit less in the left side. Okay, let me export this one. Let me just double check my settings here. Maybe we'll throw in a little bit of sharpening. Okay. Let me export that. Original folder, no resizing, sRGB, okay. Now the difference is going to be pretty dramatic because of the exposure mainly, but let's do a side by side here. And let's compare it with the export. Okay, so here's the original on the right. Here's the exported image on the left. And I think, yeah, DxO did an awesome job, as usual, bringing out the details there. But yeah, just a little bit of a crop, just to give the bird a little more prominence in the frame. And also I wanted to separate the tones in the top here, so that's why I was really diligent or really aggressive with the masking, because the tones and the colors here are very similar. So I had to be very aggressive with the masking sliders to separate them even more so that I could get just, you know, like I said, it's all subjective here, but I think that looks pretty good. So that's the before and that's the after. All right, let's see. I think this is the 4 mm fungus. Okay. I think what I'll do is, oh, this is a JPEG. It's weird. Let me rotate it to the left. And then, uh, just going to center it a little bit. Okay. And just add some contrast. A little bit of clear view. And color-wise, I'm going to try and minimize some of this reddish light. Maybe just give it a little luminance and pull it back a little bit. Let me see. Maybe not that much. Okay. And then down here, I want to where'd my dropper go? I want this to be kind of on the yellows. And we will just do a vibrance. Let's see what that does. And a little bit of exposure. Okay. And the left side. I can see some of the stacking shadows down in here. So I'm going to try and minimize that. Oh, I need to make a new one, sorry. Plus, and then move the dropper in here. We'll just pull the blacks in just to kind of hide the let me try control point. Uh we'll tighten up the mask a tiny bit. Okay, and then this blue, let me pull that in a bit. See where I'm at. Okay. Uh And we'll just push that a little more there. Okay, we'll call it there. So that's the before and after. Because of the JPEG, I don't really need to export it. It's not going to look too much different exported. But I think that looks a little better, at least for me. Um, the reds were a little bit too strong here, so it looks a lot like artificial lighting, a little bit too much. So on the left side or on the right side, so I desaturated a bit because when there's too much red there, it's hiding the details. The color is saturated so much that you can't see the details in the texture. So I had to reduce the saturation a little bit and um, uh, increase the contrast, and that brought out the texture of this, I think, a lot better. And then on the left side, the same kind of the same thing, but in reverse. There just wasn't enough color here or contrast. So now there's I don't know. I think that looks better. Okay. Um, let's go to the next one. So thank you, Paul. That's just really interesting. 165 images stacked. That's crazy. But yeah, a lot of times with stacking, there's focus breathing, and that's why you see the halo when there's focus breathing in the lens. A lot of times you'll see a little bit of a halo around the subject. Okay, one here from Jeff. Looks like some woodwork here. So what are we shooting here? Oh, your TG7, the one you got that great deal on. Man, I'm jealous. All right, so we're loading the optics module. This might take a second. It shouldn't take this long. It's because I got it set up in compare mode, I think. Let's give that a second. All right, there we go. So let's see here. Let's apply basic preset. And I'm gonna need to fix some of the chromatic aberrations. But I like there's a nice strong light. It's a little bit backlit, but that's okay. Uh, this one I think I can get really creative with. I think I'll need to get rid of some of this fringing here in the corner. Let me see. Let's put this in it. It's mostly gone, but there we go. Let's just push it a little more than DxO wanted to. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go dark here and just see where the light is really coming in. It's coming in right here on the side. And this is clipped, I think, this part here. Yeah. This area is totally clipped, so I might have to brush that. Let me brush that part. Well, maybe clone it. Let me think. try that again. Oops. Okay. All right. Darken this side even more. That. Maybe even darken this side too. Okay. I'm going to tighten this up a bit. Okay. Sorry, I'm concentrating. Okay. Let's make a new one. Shift it. Okay. Let me get rid of this. Almost there. Maybe. No. I'm getting that one a little bit. Mhm. Sorry, I'm so quiet, but I'm just light painting. It should be pretty obvious, I think. Just want it to be just about right. Okay. I might be getting too carried away. All right, let's let me let me see where I'm at here. Okay. This one is bothering me a little bit. One. Come on, get right in there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna call it here. Just give it a little more light. Let's see how that looks. Oh, I kind of messed up the tones a little bit, but yeah, it's like middle of the day for this shot. But with a couple of wolves and this like lady walking, I just felt like this would look better as a night scene. So just cooling it off and dropping the exposure down, I think worked. And I didn't do a great job painting over here, like correcting this. So plus, I think a 16 by 9 crop looks pretty good here too. Um, so yeah, I think that looks better. It certainly changed the mood overall. I would have to fix a little bit in here. I kind of muddied up a little bit the details here, but overall, I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Uh, let's see. Okay, and thanks again for sending that in, Jeff. Let's see what we have here. Oh, Shacabe's here. Hey, Happy New Year. Oh, let's see. We have a house on the water. It's a vertical from Paul. Let's do a basic preset and let's see what's in here. Whoops. Okay. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to go with a square crop. And we need a little bit of straightening. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if that's quite. Okay. And the light is coming in here from the right. I like to move the dropper around to see how it affects the mask. I think right about there looks good. And just make it a little bit more gradual. Send some warmth in there. Yes, Adam, the DxO is still a standard license, standalone. You buy it one time. So DxO 8, for example, will be good forever. And they'll update it with new cameras and things as they're released into the DxO module. But if like DxO Photolab 9 comes out, you would have to pay for an upgrade. Usually the upgrade is like about a little less than half the price of buying it new again. But ideally, you just upgrade every other version unless there's some reason, there's some major change. But okay, I like how that looks. And let's do one from this side. And let's move the dropper maybe into the light. I'm just going to cool this off a little bit. And just bring the overall exposure down. Let's tighten up the mask a little bit. This is a control line, right? So where's my masking? Oh, I collapsed it. There we go. Let's tighten that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And let me work on these windows a little bit. I'm going to use the auto masking brush and just go in here. I always like to brighten the windows up a little bit. And do the same on these windows. Okay. That might be too much. There we go. And then let's pull the highlight on here. and here. Okay. And just a little bit of splashes of light here and there. See if I do it this way. Okay. That's a little more subtle. I don't like that one, but I definitely need one here. That needs its own. Just push it a little bit there. Okay, let me see where I'm at. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do. Maybe just a little bit on the water. Okay, let's export that one. Reset it and do a comparison with, whoops, not that one, this one. All right, so here's the original, the vertical, but this was just very distracting up here. So I wanted to get rid of all that and just keep this one branch to help frame the front. And then horizon, I think that, yeah, I think that's it. And just a little bit of painting here and here, just to kind of balance the light from these tables onto the steps. And then some glossy windows and water. Didn't need much really. Just just a little bit of pop to it, that's all. And some warmth. Okay, maybe it'll be easier to see it this way. Not really. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks better. A little bit. I need a little bit of light here. That would have been nice. But anyway, okay. Very good. Thank you, Paul. And okay, so let me download a couple new ones that came in, and I will talk about I don't know, Robert, are you still here? I didn't really talk about the Radial. Is that you were asking something about Radial? Hold on. Let me download. I need to open up a new window to download. Hold on. Go in here. Go in here. All right. Oh, wow. Bunch came in. So nice looking boat from Paul. Where's that downloading to? Okay, save that one. Got a lightning bolt from William. Cityscape from Shikabe. And Bert sent in a frog. So Paul, William, Shikabe, Bert. Did that download or not? Bert. There we go. Now I got Bert's. And then there's one here from Clint Silver. I don't think this is going to work though. Yeah, I got Clint Silverhorn. It looks like I'm not going to be able to edit that one. So maybe you have to try and re-upload it. It's not coming in as a valid image file for me. Okay. It looks like it's missing the file extension. So I don't know if it's a JPEG or a RAW or what camera, all that stuff. So Clint, if you could re-upload that with the right file extension, I think I can edit it for you. Okay. Got this one. I think that's it. All right, so oh, okay, so you are still here. Since you mentioned using the control point as a base, I figured the solution might be to invert the control point. Would that work? So let me look at your original question. A radial mask, okay. No, you wouldn't invert it. In Lightroom, a radial mask is basically doesn't have any whatchamacallit, masking, right? It's just an edit in a circular form or maybe an oval shape. So with a control point, you can't stretch it to make it into an oval like you can in Lightroom, but you can make it change the settings or, you know, change the image in a very linear fashion rather than doing it with masking. So just using this, let's use this image as an example, the one I just did here. You can see that if I add a control point right here, for example, if you look at the mask, it's a little bit stronger on the dark areas than it is on the lighter areas because I put the control point right on the dark area. If I move it to the lighter area, you can see it's masking the lighter area. So this is something that's not really, I don't think can be done in Lightroom directly. It's easy enough in Photoshop, but in Lightroom, the radial mask is a little bit more coarse. So to make it a true radial mask like it is in Lightroom, all you have to do is go over here to the sliders and just put these both to 0. And now it's not going to mask for color or for light. It's just going to give a very, very linear change. So let's say I want to darken this. So I dropped the exposure, what? Let's make it 3 stops. So I dropped it basically 3 stops. But with DxO, I can tell it, don't darken the dark areas, only darken the yellow areas. So I can tighten the mask up so it's only darkening the doors, right? So if I show the mask, you can see it's only darkening based on a very tight mask here. I'm exaggerating. Uh, but Lightroom basically doesn't do that. Lightroom's radial mask is a radial filter, doesn't do any masking as far as I know. And then you were talking about inverting it. You can invert it. This is how I do uh, vignettes sometimes. So if I invert this, whoops, that's the wrong one. Let me get rid of that. So if I invert this, I can drop the exposure down and just add a vignette, right? So if you don't have like a film pack installed that has this what do you call it? Vignetting? Where is it? Yeah, creative vignetting. You don't get this creative vignetting by default. You have to buy film pack. But you can simulate vignetting using a control point. Just turn the chroma and luma down to 0, and I can make the vignette big or small any way I want, right? And if I invert it back the other way, so let me know, Robert, if that answers your question. Whoops. Uh, okay, so where did the images go that I just downloaded? There's one, there's one, there's one. Okay, let's start here. Oh, you're just trying to simulate vignetting. So I'll do it one more time on this image, okay? Since I have it open. So if I'm going to simulate a vignetting, I just go to a control point, I'll put it in the center, I'll invert it, I'll turn these down to 0, and then just bring the exposure down, right? And now I've vignetted this image. Like I said, I'm exaggerating. And I can duplicate it if I want it darker or darker, so on and so on. Okay, so let's see. Let me apply basic preset. And compositionally, let's see. Trying to think. Let me pull the light in. I think I'll do something kind of similar to what I did with the wolf picture. I'm going to bring this down 2 stops, roughly. And let's get rid of this area. With something over here. And get rid of that. Something over there. Okay. And then we'll just bring some light in. The light's kind of coming in from, it's hard to tell, but it's kind of coming in straight up. Give it a little warmth. Do the same thing in here. That needs its own. Make a new control point in here. Brighten that. Give it some warmth. And then let's just pull some of this in. And cool it off. Oh. Nah, let's just cool it down just a tad. Okay, and then make the water a little bit glossy. This. With some detail. With the micro contrast. How about some regular contrast? Yeah, that helps. And should I cool that off a little? Let's see if we can make it a little bit redder. Looks a little unnatural, but and I need to, the light's kind of coming in from behind actually. So let me come back to that bridge. I'm going to do that last. I need to just pull this in a bit. What if I do it this way? Okay. And there's just a couple of paints right in here. Hmm. Back to this one. Just push. Okay. Just brighten this back up a tiny bit. Don't know if I can fix this or not, but come on. Control point. Let's just push the highlights a little bit there. And I'm going to get rid of this. Not completely, but I'm going to just make this a little bit more muted. Okay. All right, we'll call it there. So, yeah, my edit there on the right. I think that looks better. Gosh, I'm feeling really dark today, you know, like all my images, I'm like I'm dropping them 2 or 3 stops. Except for this one, I had to brighten about 3 stops from Garrett. But yeah, I like that. I think that looks better. Um, so if I just roll this over, and the composition was fine. There wasn't much really to crop. But yeah, this concrete here is just too bright. That was kind of the biggest problem. And the subject here is not anywhere near as bright as the concrete. So, you know, I put a control point right on the subject, and I darkened everything else so that this stands out a little more, I hope. I mean, if I was really diligent, I could add one more control point here, kind of like that. Tighten up the mask. Just come down. And just brighten up this area in here overall. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, now I'm done. So, yeah, there's the original, and then here's my edit. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Bird, for sending that one. Let's see, I think this is next, right? Oh, no, this lightning. Okay. All right. Need to straighten the horizon. Maybe do a vertical. Let me see what's hiding in the shadows. Okay. I think I'll start with just brighten this, then push the shadows. And then, let's see, straighten the horizon a bit. Let's do a little tighter crop, maybe a 3x2. 16:9. And bring in, let's give it a little bit of clear view. Whoops. Not too much. I'm getting a little banding or something. Maybe because it's pouring rain. Okay. Do a control point. Not right. Do a control line. I'm going to move the dropper down here on the reds. Tighten up the chroma mask. See if I do it this way. Okay. Let's make a new one. All right. Just a slight. I think I'll call it there. Okay, so yeah, I think that works. So I basically I just wanted to, brighten it up so you could see the town, but I didn't want to illuminate it evenly because there's a lot of light on the left side. So I just tried to make the light spread over to the left by pushing the highlights and midtones this way and then pulling the shadows from the right side going to the left. But I used a pretty tight chroma mask or luminance mask or I'm sorry, chroma mask, so I didn't affect the sky itself. If anything, I should just do a global, just pull something like that. It looks good the way it is. Other than I messed up the crop there. How did I do that? Okay. All right. There you have it. um, let's see. We have a boat. And this one is from Paul. Some kind of ship graveyard. Not graveyard, but it's always interesting how ships just end up sitting there to rot. There's a lot of history uh, probably associated with this boat, but let me straighten it out a little bit. And I gotta apply my basic preset first. Okay, now let me straighten it. And just crop in. Okay. Now this time the light is coming in from the left side again. Kind of the front left. So this one's going to be a little trickier. No. What I'm going to do is just push the details on this boat. So micro contrast and clear view. Let's see, I don't think it needs any more color, but I can push it a little bit. Let's pull the blacks in, push the highlight, and let's de-emphasize some of the other areas in here. Mm. Okay. Just making sure I got the details I want. Then let me do a couple of small touches here and there. All right, I think I'll call it there. I don't know. Yeah, I'll call it there. So yeah, there's the original on the left and my edit on the right with a crop just to kind of fill the frame a little bit more with the boat itself. Uh, and then really exaggerate the details. It's hard to see the details unless I zoom in, but you can see, uh, like if this went to a print, you would get just a ton of detail and grit out of the image. Okay, that looks good. All right, let's see what else do we got. This one here from Shikabe, and thank you, Paul, for sending another one. All right, we have a busy cityscape here. And this one definitely has some light coming in from the left. But it's a little bit mixed and cloudy. So let's do preset. And I'm going to try and clear this up with clear view. And then warm this up a little bit. Where are we at? We're 56. Let's go to about 59. And then see if I can exaggerate or separate some of the tones here. I don't want the sky. I don't know if that's going to work. Maybe. Does that erase it? Yeah, that does. That's fine. I don't think this is going to work though. Uh, so it's just a little bit of light. Here. And then it's just kind of dropping in here and there. Might need to make a separate brush. Yeah. Let me pull. Okay. It's not bad. A little bit there. Oops. Just little accents here and there. Okay, let me make a new brush. Okay, that's good. And let's do a control line. See if there's anything I can bring back in the sky. Tighten up that mask. Mask is going to be tough, but let's see. Yeah, there's nothing up there. Okay. And let's do a little micro contrast. Slight push. Slight push here. I should have cropped this first. Okay. Let me export that one. There's a little bit of noise in this one. And reset, compare. All right, so here's the original on the right. And yeah, it just basically cleared it up. It's very, very hazy. I don't know if that's smog or fog or pollution. Looks like it might be fog. So I wanted to get rid of that and then exaggerate the light that I see hitting the front of these buildings or the left side of these buildings a little bit. And then this building here is kind of a distraction because we have basically full, buildings over here, but then this one's kind of cut off. So I just cut it off completely. And then there's a lot of water down here not doing anything for me. So yeah, I think that works the way it is. I think the only thing I would change, let me see if I can change it. Um, is I would try to make this sky. Let me see what the mask looks like. I don't think it'll work, but I just make it a little cooler. Something like that. Let me export that. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay. So full screen, I guess. That's the edited version, and that's the original. A little bit of clipping here that I could fix, if I went back to it, but I think that looks pretty good. It was a hazy day. Okay, Shakabe, thank you. Let's see. I think that was it from anything new that came in. So let's look at the edit you guys did of my image. Let me find the original real quick. Yeah, this is the original. So we'll set that as a reference. And let's see, the first one was this one from Jeff. Oh, okay. So Jeff did a 16 by 9 and just pushed the exposure a little, it looks like. And this is where I wanted to show you something with the luminance. I'll do that last, but okay. Just basically a push in the shadows in a 16 by 9 crop as far as I can tell. All right, very good. That's basically all I did with my edit. Let's see. And this is more like a 3 by 2 crop. Maybe it's a 16 by 9, but this is this is a good push on the contrast. I like that. It really brought out the stars. In fact, let me see. It looks like you did a little post-processing with starbursts. Those aren't the original starbursts I had in the image. I use a starburst filter, but it looks like you did Paul did let me know, Paul, did you magic light option in Luminar to enhance the starburst? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't use Luminar, but that makes sense. I know some software has this starburst you can add in after the fact. Okay, and just a very, very slight push on the shadows and some noise reduction. So maybe you double process this, right? You did noise reduction in DxO and then you did Luminar. Okay, nice. Let's see. This one's this is from Jan. Okay. So this is a tighter 4 by 3 crop. And I think you were trying to get the lines and the corners right. Because I see you filled this corner in the top left and this corner on the bottom right. And then just a little bit of a push on the shadows. And maybe a little desaturation. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Jan. And then this one from Paul. Oh, I like this square crop. This is an interesting edit. The crop is really interesting. And then, the black and white processing is fine. There's a good spread of tones. Okay. Not bad. This is going in an interesting direction, I think. I know I didn't give you guys much time to work on mine, but let's see. And this one is also, oh, this from Robert. Okay, Robert's using Neo. So let's see, maybe a 4 by 3 crop, but a little tighter crop. And then a push in the shadows in the black and white. So this is kind of a low contrast image, actually. There's not like a huge stretch. But this is this is a little bit more like HP5 film, right? Or it's kind of a low contrast with lots of grain because it's night. That makes sense. Okay, interesting edit. And finally, we have one from, this is from Garrett. Okay, Garrett, looks like potentially a DxO because all the noise is gone. And wow, you really pushed this thing to the warmer side. Added a little magenta maybe. So it's almost monochromatic on the warm side. So it's not a black and white image, but it's pretty much one color, just different tones of one color. And then maybe a 16 by 9 crop, roughly. Maybe, no, well, probably a 3 by 2. but it looks like you basically worked on this corner on the bottom right, but not the top left, like we saw before. Okay. I forget what mine looks like. I know I put it on Flickr, but let me uh let me show you something I did. How do I get back? All right. So where's my original? What I wanted to show you in DxO was uh I'm not going to do too much editing here, but let's just push the exposure up a bit and maybe the shadows. But the challenge here is for me is I wanted to try to correct for some of this tungsten lighting. And the only way to do that, right, is to, just adjust the white balance this way, get rid of some of the greens. But then the sky turns a little bit too blue, right? So what I can do instead is just cool it off slightly here, and then go into this chroma, the hue mask, they call it a hue mask, and just select sort of this orange hue down here. And now I can just shift this white balance a little bit cooler this way. Rather than, so now I'm not affecting the sky, right? I'm only affecting the the tungsten lighting. Again, it's very subjective if this is something you wanted to do, but it was something I was working with, so I wouldn't do it completely, but just a little bit. And then I could warm up, just put a mask in here, warm this side up a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of one of the uses for the hue mask and the other tools. This is something I believe only comes with film pack, these luminosity and hue masking. But it makes it very easy to fix, when you have a really harsh contrast in white balance. It makes it very easy to fix to fix the differences in white balance. But I just thought I'd share that with you. And then Garrett says, he sent the wrong one. Okay, I'll look. I'll look since we have a little time. I got all day really, but I need to go pick up my new camera. If it's ready, I need to check my email. I bought it locally at District Camera. Yeah, it's ready. That's right. Your order is ready to pick up. Awesome. I'm excited. Okay, so let me find your image, Garrett, and see if I can edit that. Yeah, you saw the lawn, right, Jen? I mean, I just did a very quick edit on that image using that hue mask, but the hue mask can really bring back or let's see when there's so much strong tungsten lighting in that image, by shifting it back to a more correct white balance, then you start to see the other colors that might be in there, like the grass, like you were saying. Oh, okay, you sent in your edit here. Okay. And I see, okay, Clint sent one in. Okay, so let me grab Clint's and Garrett's, and Lasse sent one in. We'll do a couple more. So we'll look at Garrett's uh, edit, and then we'll work on Clint and Lasse here. If you guys are still here, I assume. Otherwise, I can do it next week. Why is my camera like so out of? I don't know. Anyway, uh, okay, everything downloaded. Let me see. Where did it go? This is, yeah, this is it. So this is what Garrett meant to send in. Okay. Yeah, I like that. As opposed to what? What was the other one? Because Paul did one very similar. Oh, this. Okay, so you sent this one in, but you meant to send this one in. Yeah, this is not too dissimilar from Paul. Here's Paul's, right? A square crop. And then here's yours, Garrett. Square crop, but a little bit, you brought the shadows in a little bit more. That makes sense. This was a tough image, right? It was really noisy and you know, really strong contrast in terms of white balance, right? One area is very cool, the other area is very warm with the tungsten lighting. And then the starburst effect just kind of, you know, for fun. Okay. Okay, Lassay's still here and Clint is still here. Okay, so let's do your images real quick. Let's see. That would be, oh, they can't, no, no, this one. All right, this one is Lassay's. Okay, yeah, strong blue, a very, very strong blue cast here. So we're gonna fix that. I can probably just do that with a white balance, like that. Okay, now I can see the browns and the greens. Uh, let's do, no, I don't want to do clear view. I do want to get rid of this windowsill or whatever that is, pole. It's probably a window though, because you're pretty high up. It's like you took this from, maybe, maybe just get these two trees on the left side. But I don't want to lose sort of that town in the background. I think that works better because this, the bottom part's a little bit distracting. So I'm gonna just crop in to there. And I want to bring out the reds or the browns in that tree. So we'll just make a little tighter chroma mask and just hit some of the areas of the tree trunks, I should say. Okay. And it's not really brightening. That's not bad. Okay. It's a little bit too strong. And I want to do the same thing for the greens. So it looks like it's snowing pretty heavy while you took this picture. That's why it's a little bit soft, I think. So let's just do the greens. Did I? Yeah, I made a new control point. So let's pull the white balance back to the greens. All right. Maybe some clear view on those tree trunks. There we go. Okay. These greens don't look right, though. Let me try. Let me reset this. Just a slight. Right about there. Then just a global white balance. Let's cool it off just a tiny bit. Ow, hold on. Yeah, that's good. I want to be in the 12s. And I'm going to lower the contrast. So let me just pull that back a little. Okay. God, the greens still don't look right. It's a lot of sensor spots. No, well, that could be snow too. Like giant snowflakes. Well, that's interesting. There's a little bit of light down here. So let me. Yeah, that's a mistake. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it. All right, so let's do a before and after. So if we compare it to. All right, so here's the original on the left. This has a very similar problem that the image I gave you guys, the edit that was mine, where the tungsten lighting was so strong, the overcast, you couldn't see the other colors. So by correcting the white balance and then exaggerating the browns and the greens, we can now see the colors. But I didn't want to take away from the fact that it's actually snowing pretty hard. So I kept the contrast low. So I think that looks pretty good. And then, of course, cropped it. I just felt like this tree on the right side, it was just too much. I like the tree trunks here on the left, so that's why I cropped it. It didn't have to be cropped, but this part was also a little distracting here. I wish this stuff wasn't here, but it is what it is. Okay. And let's see. There was one more here from Clint. Why am I not seeing it? Let me see what kind of file that was. So this is a .arw, so it's a Sony download. Oh, I didn't download it, I guess. Right? Yeah. Okay, that's why I didn't come in. All right, now I got it. All right, so that should be right here, and we'll get the Sony a7S with an 85 or a 51.8. All right, very good. Wait for that to load. Okay. All right, looks like we have some sort of thing where you put your hands in and some kind of equipment. I don't know what this is, but it looks like you put your arms in here and your foot down here. So I'm going to apply basic preset first. And this is more like a product shot, right? Let's do a perspective correction and maybe a slight crop. Get rid of that wheel on the left side and then center it like so. It's a little bit centering this way. Okay. And I'm not going to make this a product shot because it's not. I'll just make it a little more interesting by making it very gritty. In fact, I could even do a black and white potentially. No, maybe. Let me see. If I go to the channel mixer and see what that does. No, I'm going to leave it in color. So let's turn that off. Let's go back to color. And just do a global push on the shadow, a little pull on the blacks. And let's bring some light in from the left side. And what kind of light is that? That's kind of a fluorescent, so I'll make it more green, blue. I think we're okay. And do something on this side. Give me a second. Okay. Let's do something on the glass. That's interesting. Okay. And emphasize the letters. Tighten up the chroma mask. Okay, there's a little bit of a control down here. A little bit of light in here and here. Maybe there. on the pedal. Nope, pedal needs its own. Okay. Give the pedal a little bit of grit. All right, let's compare those two. So I think that's all I would do with this image, you know, just to make it a little more visually interesting. It's not what would do if this were like a paid job where this is we're trying to sell this machine or feature this machine as part of the workshop. You know, if they were selling whatever this thing is, if they're selling a workshop and this is one of the pieces of equipment in the workshop, I wouldn't do this kind of edit either. Uh, so I decided to go a little bit more artistic on the edit. But hopefully you like that, Clint. Oh, it's an old sandblaster. Okay, thank you for clarifying. I obviously I'm not, you know, I've never worked in a shop. So that's awesome. Okay. So yeah, last day says it was taken through a window and nice edit. Oh, you're welcome. All right, very good. So you guys thanks so much for sending those in and I appreciate that. It's always a lot of fun to edit your images and see what you guys do with mine. I thought the square crop on mine was very interesting. Um, I didn't I thought about it, but then it didn't I don't know, I didn't try it. I'll have to try that, but let me see if I can show you how I edit it. Uh, oh, here it is, yeah. So this is my edit, it's on my Flickr page. It's not great. You know, it's still got some perspective issues, some skewing. I didn't do the color white balance thing that I showed you guys on this image, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. Um, but yeah, I did so much photography these last few days. I got all these images I put in. So be sure to visit my Flickr page, check out some of my images. You'll see that I generally like very strong contrasty type images, and that's a lot of the editing that I did today was very contrasty, especially the last one. But you guys, Happy New Year. I will be back next week, Friday. Just plan on me doing something every Friday about this time. I'm sorry I didn't put it up, but you can always use the link that's in this video to submit your images, and I'll see them for the next time I do it. But I'm going to try and keep to the Friday schedule, and I'm going to try some different software. Maybe not next week, but definitely next month. I'm going to try doing with Luminar Neo and Olympus Workspace as well. So look forward to that. But thanks again, and I will see you guys back on Sunday. I'm going to do a photo chat, and you'll get to see what my new camera is. There's an off button here somewhere.